What's going on, everybody? So in this video, we are going to be talking about one of the hottest NFT burns is happening with Checks and some major updates on some of the biggest IPs in the NFT space. Now, before we go ahead and get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you're still surviving through the bear, and let's get started. So first thing we're going to cover is what's going on in the crypto markets. So over the weekend, everything's moving sideways for the most part. Ethereum is still at that 1.5, so it hasn't really moved too much in the last 7 days, which is fine. Better things to be stable than to be completely dumping, right? So let's go ahead and get into the major news. Now, the biggest thing that everyone is talking about is going to be Daigaku, which is a NFT project by Limit Break headed by Gabriel. So pretty much what happened is that there's this whole narrative on Twitter where everyone's talking about DigiDaigaku is going to onboard millions of people onto NFTs. My boy Alex over here, who's the CEO of Valhalla, he's like, in case you missed it, Superbowl Ad just links to Gabriel's Twitter profile. All right, so what's going on here? So let me give you the breakdown on what happened. So basically, this is going to be the Superbowl ad where it's going to be this teaser where the female and male character are trying to get inside this, open this treasure chest. And for people watching the Super Bowl, they're supposed to scan this thing. Now, when you scan the actual QR code, where it actually goes is Gabriel, who is the CEO of Limit Break DigiDaigaku. So you can see the banner over here. It says follow to win. And you have to follow him. You basically enter some kind of giveaway, raffle kind of thing. And it really feels like you're kind of like entering a lottery ticket in some senses, right? When you scroll down, basically, it's going to link you to DigiDaigaku Dragons once you go on his page. And if you're wondering the results of $7 million Super Bowl ad, it seems like he's gained, 78,000 new followers, and that is pretty much it. So a lot of people have different perspectives on the effectiveness of this campaign, right? Is it really worth the $7 million to get 70,000 followers and just to link to the CEO's Twitter page? Hard to really say. So when we are looking at the commercial itself, you scan the QR code, you get a free digital collectible, great, and then it has the limitbreak.com website. So when you scan, you go to this guy's Twitter page, but if you go to the DigiDaigaku, it's going to take you to this landing page where the first thing you see is going to be join us, and that actually takes you to the careers page where they have open opportunities, which doesn't really quite make sense for a Super Bowl ad to be putting that there. And then from there, if you want to go on Gabriel's Twitter page and you click on complete registration, retweet this tweet, you can connect your wallet and get the free mint for the DigiDaigaku Dragons. Now, the thing is, there's only going to be 10,000 of these NFTs. Right now, the floor price is 0.39, right? And it's like, what's inside? So it's a very interesting way to do an NFT. I guess different dragons, different eggs are going to hatch. And I believe the Genesis holders of DigiDaigaku also got the airdrop for these as well. So actually, there's not too many people who are watching the Super Bowl ad who are going to go on this website and actually mint an NFT. Clearly, it shows that even if millions of people all over the world watching the Super Bowl see this, they're not going to be FOMOing into the secondary market. What would have made more sense is if they did a free NFT with like unlimited supply or maybe a much higher supply, because it's not as if like millions of people are fighting over this 10,000 supply. So I think if they took a different approach of like, let's say the Reddit style of giving everyone an NFT where it's a digital collectible that can lead into something in the future, that would have made more sense. I feel like it was a missed opportunity, and I feel like the demand they generated probably could have been generated from just even targeting only the Web3 space, because like from an ROI perspective, how many new people are introduced to DigiDaigaku in a very real, meaningful way? It's very questionable, right? But maybe there's a master grand plan here that I'm not really seeing. Maybe somehow it's going to tie into when they do user acquisition, when they start running advertisements for the game. That's definitely a possibility. But for right now, quite a mystery for me to see the justification behind that ad spend. Now, next project we're going to talk about is going to be Checks. Now, as you know, there's this whole meta going on, open edition, where people are selling art, there's burn mechanics. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Basically, there's this original collection where the original Checks, right? And basically what you have to do is you have to buy it, then you have to migrate it, move it to another contract, which is going to be this one. And we're not going to go in the whole technicals of it. You just go on the website and, click a couple buttons and you get the new project, right? And then from here, what you can do is if you burn 2 of these, you can get the more rare one, right? Burn 2 of them to get the 40. And then when you have 40, and then you can go on and burn 2 of those to get this one, which is more expensive, and then so on and so forth. And actually, somebody actually burned enough to get the 1. And I think there's one more after this where you can get like the black check, which is the 0, but it's quite expensive to do. So maybe they haven't done it quite yet. So that's pretty much the process. It's not as like hyped as probably what people were thinking. In fact, it's a real possibility that the floor might continue to go down from here. I think from here, people are going to ask like, well, what's the narrative to pump it up, right? Because the whole open edition meta was just like, it's a narrative, right? For contemporary art, things go up and down really fast. The moment all the people like flipped this and got other people to buy it at like 1.5 and 2 ETH and they exit the market, hard to say what will keep it up. You would have to get enough believers to continue to want to hold it in order for this to hold value. That's pretty much the game, right? Question I have is like, can they get enough people to believe in this and to hold it long term in order for this to become like a modern day contemporary art piece? Or is it something that's just going to be a very cool experiment for the time, right? Because again, nothing was really promised for this project, right? Is experimental art project. So just keep that in mind. The next project we're gonna talk about is gonna be Puma. So a while back in September 2022, Puma launched an NFT, which kind of looks like this. So it's basically like a sneaker that was designed for the metaverse. For people who have this NFT, they're going to be airdropped a NFT or PFP version of the sneaker. And this is pretty much what it looks like. Now, first glance, I feel like for an iconic brand that is Puma, who has a market cap of $9.39 billion, they could have done a lot better. So I feel like they probably just hired an agency. It says they probably understand Web3 and stuff like that. And they probably just created this art. And for me, it kind of misses the mark, right? Because I feel like they could have done so much better when it comes to the art, because as you think about it, like, is this really a brandable piece of IP that they want to be using for all their stores and their products and merchandise and stuff like that? I feel like they could have done better. And because of this missed opportunity, probably this is just going to be airdrop. People are most likely going to forget about it. Then they'll have to come up with another thing and maybe find another agency to do the next project, right? Right now, I personally think there's a really big opportunity for IP brands. So if you're a brand builder or IP builder, there's definitely an opportunity for you to come in and do something really cool, whether it's from an agency perspective and helping a brand like Puma maybe do something really cool, or maybe creating your own NFT brand, right? So definitely keep that in mind if you guys are builders. And speaking of builders, if you want to connect with me, our community, and learn more about how to build with our Parallax Academy sessions, you want to make sure you check out the Parallax Genesis where we talk about NFT, what's going on in the market, as well as online educational live courses where I'm going to give you the insights on everything that's going on in the NFT space. And this week, we're actually having an in-depth masterclass on NFT minting mechanics. We're going to be talking about all the top projects like Zuki, Cool Cats back in the day, and so much more. So if you're interested in learning about the building side of NFTs, make sure to pick up the Parallax Genesis. Our OpenSea link is in the description. Okay, so next project we're going to talk about is one of the OG projects, which is Cool Cats, right? So it's definitely went for the IP play. Some updates of what they're doing here. So basically they have this thing called the Wandering Territory. Pretty much how it works is if you have a Cool Cat, you can like basically log in with your wallet. If you have cool pets, you get points or bonuses. Also, if you had a Cool Cat, you were airdropped a Cool Cat Fractures, kind of like your access pass in order to do this whole story thing. How it works is that you have this thing called a cool score, and your fractures, the thing that they airdrop, will transform depending on how high your cool score is. You have a cool cat, you have a cool pet, you got airdropped a thing. You stake them all together, meaning you have to like lock it up to go on the quest to evolve your fractal. Depending on how many points you get from the quest, your fractal will evolve in a different way, and maybe it'll be something more rare, and maybe you can sell it for more, right? It's almost like a gambling game in a sense, where you know you kind of have these assets, you roll the dice, and then hopefully if you have the right pieces together, and if you get lucky with the RNG, then you will have something that hopefully will be worth something. And if it's not worth anything, then it's just a digital collectible, right? So that's pretty much how it works. And from, you know, a builder's eye kind of looking at it, it's kind of like a way for people to hold their cool cats and their cool pets, right? So a lot of times projects will create staking mechanisms designed to incentivize people to hold, and if they hold and they cannot sell, then the floor price will essentially become higher, right? And then the higher the floor price you have, the more leverage you have when it comes to doing Web2 deals, the higher perception of your brand value, and the more happier your holders are. And I feel like that's pretty much what is going on over here. Now, what's interesting for me to think about is Cool Cats actually has another token called Milk, right? And it seems like that didn't really work out that well. So this is like another mechanic for people to stake. But I personally feel like this is kind of short term, meaning that it's just getting people to hold. I guess they're just trying to get people to get the brand to survive. But what is this really doing for the Cool Cats brand? In my opinion, not too much, because from a Web3 perspective, it's not super exciting. It's really just for people who already have a Cool Cat to be incentivized to hold in some way, right? But what I would be wondering is like, what are we doing for the future? How are we taking this to the next level? And I think those questions are still unanswered. And to be fair, most projects don't have the answer anyways, right? So everything's still kind of an experiment, but that's my learning lesson and takeaway from observing Cool Cats from afar. With that said, that's everything we got to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'm going to see you in the next one.